It is good to come together for the purpose of co-creating. Do you agree?
Yes.
You're knowing what you're wanting?
Yes.
It moves about a bit, yes? Yes.
Yes.
You are enjoying the contrast of your time and place? Oh, yes, especially that, yes. And here's the big one, get ready. The answer to this is yes also. Those unfulfilled desires are pleasing to you, yes?
Yes.
Oh, you lie. But we want you to come to the place where you can say that and mean it. Because from your non-physical standpoint, you say that and mean that. Because from your non-physical perspective, you know that you are eternal beings, that we all are, that we never get it done. And so, if we are eternal, which means eternal, is there a better word? Always. Then isn't it logical that you cannot be complete? And if you are not complete, since you are eternal, then there will always be another exposure to another contrasting experience which will cause you to give birth to yet another new desire, which, since you just gave birth to it, is not complete. And what we want you to come away from this gathering feeling very powerfully is that exhilarating crevasse, if you will, between having given birth to a new idea, to a new preference, and it not yet being completed, but you're on your way to the completion of it, because it's on the way. It's that on the way crack that is your life. You keep thinking that you want to get through the crack, through the crevasse, and over to the place where the manifestation is complete. And we say, well, you can do that, and you will. You'll get your new house, and you'll get your new car, and you'll get your new lover, you'll get your new stuff. It will constantly come to you, because when you ask, it is always given. But the thing that we really want you to feel is that now you're just going to be standing in another new place with other contrasting experiences, which are going to give birth to another yet new desire, which is still going to be incomplete. So we see so many of you standing in this place where you feel incomplete, but you're unhappy in your incompletion. I will feel so much better when my lover comes. I will feel so much better when my money comes or when my new house comes. And you got to get over that. You got to feel good in the crack. You've got to feel happy in the crevasse of incompletion. And unless you are, then you're going to hold yourself in this negative, annoyed, resistant, irritated, unhappy, incomplete feeling, inadequate, insecure attitude that will prevent what you're asking for from coming to you. Did that just make sense? So you got to be happy in the crack. You've got to be excited about wanting something that hasn't come yet. So you want to get to the place where when people say to you, has that thing you've been talking about come yet? You want to say no, not no. No, it hasn't come yet, which means I'm still alive, which means I'm still adjusting, which means I'm still adjusting my vibration. And what is it that you are adjusting your vibration to? You're adjusting your vibration not from not having this thing you want to having this thing you want. You're adjusting this vibration from being unhappy about not having it to being happy even though you don't have it. Because when you're happy even though you don't have it, then you'll have it. But as long as you're unhappy about not having it, that unhappy is a vibration that holds it away. When you're unhappy about not having it, you're practicing the art of resistance. And when you're resisting, you can't have it. Well, how do I get happy about not having something that I really want? Well, it takes practice. It takes understanding you're eternal. It takes understanding that you're on your way. It takes beginning to enjoy the process. Do you know that if we were standing in your physical shoes, and we often are, and we were on our way to something that is in our mind, we're looking forward to it, we're not there yet, we haven't achieved it yet, we would feel anticipation. We would feel eagerness. We would feel optimism. We would feel enjoyment or pleasure at watching how clever the universe is in organizing a way to give it to us. We wouldn't be beating the drum of it's taking too long. We'd be beating the drum of, well, look at that. Well, look at that. Well, wasn't that interesting? Look how it is unfolding. Because when you start beating the drum of, I'm happy in my incompletion, oh, things speed up so fast, you see. So when you ask, it is given every single time. And do you know that you ask not only with your words, not even necessarily with your words. You ask vibrationally as you move through life. So when someone's rude to you, without even knowing it, you're asking for people to be nicer to you. When you're rude to someone, without even knowing it, you are asking or preferring to be nicer yourself. In other words, when you don't have enough money, you want more money. When you are without a relationship, you want a relationship if you want a relationship. In other words, the contrasting experience is what causes those preferences or desires to be born. Now, this is something that we have not been saying to you very often, not very long. In fact, for many of you, it might be something you have not heard from us yet at all. When you experience contrast, which gives birth to a preference, that preference is, we like to say, lovingly held for you in vibrational escrow. And the reason that is lovingly held for you in vibrational escrow is because in the moment that you give birth to it, the inner being, source energy, God force part of you goes there with it. So now there is a vibrational point of relativity between what you want and what source has come into absolute, utter, instant agreement with, and where you are on the same subject. For example, you're banging around, you go to the mailbox, you get your bills, you don't have enough money to pay your bills. And in that annoying or even frightening moment, you give birth yet to another desire, I want more money. And in the moment that that happens, Source says, agreed, it's done, everything's in place. Vibrational escrow is yours. So now, it's your job to bring yourself into vibrational alignment with this money you're asking for and the vibrational agreement of source energy. So, Source is over here, confident, knowing, expecting, eager, passionate about the idea of your money coming. We have a party every time you ask for anything. And you're over here doing something. The question is, are you eager? If you are, then you're in alignment and there's no resistance between you and what you're asking for. And now, since there is no resistance, no separation, no contradiction in your vibration, you're now sending one strong signal, what your inner being knows you want, and you're right there with it. Now, you are practicing what we call the art of allowing. Step 1 is ask. You do that all day, every day. You can't help but do that. Step 2 is answer. Source is already answered. Source is over there holding your goods for you in vibrational escrow. Step 3 is you've got to become a vibrational match to what you're asking for. And as soon as you are, you will have full manifestation of it. So what we notice is more than 99% of every creation is complete vibrationally before you begin to see the physical evidence. So sometimes what happens is you're well along your way to vibrational alignment, but since the evidence hasn't showed itself to you, you choose to look at the absence of what you want and beat the drum of that, which causes you to move yourself in separation. Every time you feel unhappy about something not happening that you want, you hold yourself apart from the vibrational escrow that's got your name on it. Is this making sense to you? So the key word that we want you to remember or phrase is vibrational relativity. You've got to close that vibrational gap between the vibration of what you want and source that is in agreement with it and where you are practicing your thoughts. So you could say you want to close the gap between your desire and your belief. A belief's just a thought you keep thinking. Or you could say you want to close the gap in your vibration, which means you just can't feel bad about something you want and be in the place of letting it in. As Jerry and Esther are traveling from Phoenix to San Diego, they're always so eager to get over to San Diego. They were there for a month. It was 70 degrees mostly. It got all the way up to 79 degrees one day. They're right on the water. The wind feels wonderful. They can hardly wait to get over there. And as they're traveling from Phoenix across there, it's about 400 miles, they know the journey. They know they have to keep pointing west in the direction of San Diego and keep moving and that eventually they'll get there. And even though most of that 400 miles they're not there, they don't feel unhappy during the time that they're on their way to where they want to be. And we want you to understand that you've got to do that with all of your journeys. If you're sick, even if you're really sick, You've got to be more joyful on your way to wellness. And we think the reason you're not more joyful on your way to wellness is because you're not sure that you're really on your way to wellness, because the doctor may have told you can't get well from this. This is incurable. And we say, he does not know. He does not understand vibrational relativity. He does not understand, if he's telling you that you've got something that is incurable, he does not understand that the illness caused you to launch a rocket of desire for wellness that Source came into utter and absolute and instant agreement with. And if you'll come into agreement, you'll be well. It is our promise to you. You cannot not be. It is law. When you close that vibrational gap, you must have what you are now sending the one signal about, you see. But if you are standing in a place where you are sick, and you are on your way to wellness or trying to be pointed in that direction, what's happening with many of you is you haven't figured out how to quantify that journey. You can't tell whether you're headed toward wellness or away from it. Can you imagine Jerry and Esther getting halfway to San Diego in about Yuma, Arizona, and being so disappointed that they're not yet in San Diego that they get all disoriented and turn around and go back to Phoenix? So they just go Phoenix, Yuma, Phoenix, Yuma, Phoenix, Yuma, Phoenix, Yuma. And then they say, San Diego is incurable. It's an impossible quest. And we say, no, it isn't. Just point in the direction of it and keep going. Don't keep turning around and going in the opposite direction. Well, you say relative to their journey across the desert, that's ridiculous. Of course, they can tell which way to go. There are signposts. They know the way. But sometimes the way from sickness to wellness, or the way from not enough money to enough money, or the way from a rotten relationship to a wonderful relationship, you haven't figured out how to quantify your journey, because you're listening to that one over there and that one over there and that one over there and that one over there. And what we want you to do is leave here today being able to quantify every journey by understanding that when you want something, Source says yes to it and offers a strong signal that when you line up with, you feel good. How hard is that? Source is over here saying, we know what you want. We've been watching you. We've heard everything. And we're offering a signal about what you want. And you can tell by the way you feel when you're on bead with that signal or when you're not, which means when you're happy, on the trail. When you're appreciating, on the trail. When you're joyful, on the trail. When you're ornery, going the other way. When you're angry, going the other way. When you're afraid, going the other way. Good feeling is on the way. Not good feeling is not on the way. This is the way you quantify your journey, you see. So, Abraham, does that mean that I want more money and I've been asking for it? Lord knows I've been asking for it. For years I've been asking for it. And we say, we know, we've been hearing you. And you should see the pile of money that's lined up waiting for you. And the circumstances and events that have been arranged on your behalf. And then you say, but where is the money? I need the money now. And we say, as you beat that drum that makes you feel worse, you've turned around and you're going back to Phoenix. As you do your best to feel a little better, now you're on the way. This is the thing that you have been missing, that from now on you won't be missing. So this journey across whatever desert it is going to be fast for you. From now on, it is our promise to you. The thing that you have been missing is you cannot jump from fear or despair all the way into bright-eyed, bushy-tailed sunshine, lollipops, and roses appreciation. And when you try to do that, you fall in the ditch, because the vibration of fear of not having enough money and the vibration of exhilaration of having all the money in the world that you want are two very different vibrations. They feel really different. There is a huge vibrational difference. Now, you understand vibrational differences. You cannot set your radio dial on 6:30 a.m. and hear what's being broadcast from 98.7 FM. They're different frequencies. And your transmitter tuner has to match. In other words, the receiver and the transmitter have to be on the same frequency.